I almost kept the Lions off. And it's just the offensive line's making me a little antsy. You know, Decker hasn't practiced yet. I know they say he's going to come back in a couple days. Christian Mahogany, I do like. I had a 3rd round grade on him. He dropped because of injuries. Graham Glasgow has been a fine player when he's been out there, but he's not Frank Ragnow. You know, just those little things, just make me feel a little uneasy. And I think Tate Ratledge got no coaching at Georgia, the offensive line. I think every offensive lineman that got drafted from Georgia is going to improve in the pros. So, but I do think he's going to need just a little bit of time. It's just also, I think there's a drop off in play caller from Ben Johnson and John Morton. That's kind of my hesitation with them. Let's just get into the Lions right now. Matt, you kind of feel the same way, kind of keeping them maybe on the lower half of your top 10.
Yeah, I do kind of think 8 to maybe 12, 13 was a little interchangeable. So, you know, I made some cuts for a team that I don't like that I cut them off either. But with the Lions, they do, again, they have a lot of good players, right? And I'm going to keep saying that. Like they've got really good skill position players. However, maybe I'm overthinking this, but that quote from Jameson Williams to NFL Network recently where he's like, yeah, this offense is going to have less guardrails. It's going to be, or it's going to just really be a little more freedom. I was like, I don't know if I like that for a lot of these players, especially you, pal, especially Jameson Williams. Like, I think that's a guy that needs to be on the guardrails. You know, it's hard to say. One of the things I really like about the Bears drafting Luther Burden was that I was like, oh, that's a guy that needs to get pushed. And that coach, he really needs that like hard coaching, that pushing. And like, man, I loved what this group, Antoine Randall as wide receivers coach, and obviously Ben Johnson as the offensive coordinator, they really pushed Jameson Williams. And Dan Campbell's a big part of that too. But then those guys are gone, and then you have obviously Jameson Williams saying like, "Nah, yeah, we're free. Like players can be ourselves." Like I really think they had you guys in a pretty good little runway there, and it was everything was really well organized. I'm not sure that it's going to be that this year, but again, there's only so far you can fall, and going from number one in success rate in a variety of metrics down to 8th. I think at least for me, I feel like I'm accounting for that drop off a little here because they have a top 10 receiver. They have a top 5 running back. They got a quarterback that I think is good enough. And they have a really explosive player in Jameson Williams. So yeah, for me, I'm with you, Nate, that the biggest questions are play caller and the offensive line. Like it was kind of funny. They spent a big chunk of this offseason, like pitching the idea of we're going to move Tate Ratledge to center. And then it took like, how many practices for them to ditch that idea? Like, like, never mind. That also doesn't make you feel all that great either.
Yeah, it's kind of, I understand why they wanted to try it because of his body type and everything, but it was, I think they were like, oh yeah, you've never done this before? Yeah, that's really hard. Jared Wilson, his teammate who played center last year at Georgia, I don't know if we're talking all about Georgia and I haven't even kicked it to Chuck yet. And Jared Wilson, who played center, is starting right now at left guard for the Patriots. But I think all the 3 that got drafted, the Bengals have another one. We'll talk about that later. Are all going to get a little bit of boost, but I'm going to spoil a little bit. Charles, you have the Lions at 5, correct?
Yeah.
Let's just talk about it right now. What's we have them all in this top 10. So I know that, but we just have them just slightly a little bit lower because I think we like the skill guys and everything, but praise the Lions or why you have them as top 5.
I don't think they're going to be as good as last year. I mean, obviously, that even if everyone came back, that would be tough to do. Because you remember like the playoff game against the Commanders, they were cooking that defense outside of the 3 plays that turned it with the interceptions. But like you go back and look at the running plays, I think they're averaging like over 0.4 EPA per carry, which is just like you shouldn't even bother putting the ball in the air at that point because you can just cram it down their throats. But this is a different team. But there are still pieces of that still there. Because I wanted to knock them, right? Because here's the thing. It was the first big like reporting job that I did when I worked at SB Nation. Was I did a feature on like how to generate big plays against different coverages and from different looks, and I was fascinated with the 2017 Jets that year because they had a stretch where this is when John Morton was the offensive coordinator, and they had a stretch where they were horrendous on just about every area of their offense except for big plays. Like their success rate was like bottom of the league, EPA bottom of the league. And then they had a stretch in like the first 10 games where the borderline top 10 in big plays. So I was like, that's fascinating. Like you guys stink, but you're really good at like the one thing that most teams would like to be good at. And then, you start watching it, and I called John Morton, and it just seemed like it was a lot of YOLO balls. And I'm not saying that was like that means he's not going to do great here. I just think it means like there's still a lot of like the base of this offense that needs to be built. It wasn't great the last time on a down-to-down basis, but if they can still figure out a way to generate like those big plays down the field, at least they'll be okay. And you're not starting for a Bear Cupper. Like last time John was the OC, it was just Brandon Marshall, Josh McCown. Can you please catch this ball on third down? Josh is going to throw it to you, eyes closed, 40 yards down the field. Can you hang on? This is going to have to be a little bit more orchestrated than that because they have all the talent to do that. But I do think that this is kind of a washy place to be a little bit with your offensive coordinator situation.
Yeah, it's kind of hard because it's like there's stuff there, and Dan Campbell guardrails do help. And I'm like, you bring up the explosive play stuff. But this offense, and it's just to kind of tie together all the points, because Matt's point about that whole Jameson Williams quote, like my antennas went up too. My alarm bell started ringing a little bit too. Yeah. And it's because I was like, this offense was pristine. I was calling Ben Johnson the sniper. From? Yeah, this is why it worked.
Freedom's just being great.
How much they fought for you after all these suspensions? What are you talking about, dude?
They give you like several gadget plays a game to do stuff. Like I know it's like this. I called Ben Johnson the sniper because it was like everything was dialed in. 32 yards, we got this play. 22 yards, we got this play. It was like that was your secret sauce, was how detailed you guys were. And now you're saying no, we're going to freewheel it with Jared Goff, who is a like on time guy.
That's where I got stuck.
It's just, again, this is just August. We're not even in August again, but it's just and then I'm glad you brought the 2017 Jets because McCown was an unpin the grenade and let's launch stuff kind of quarterback. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, but it's all over the place. And then you get this Lions offense the last few years. It's so pristine with Goff, but then Ben Johnson's already saying and Bears observers are saying like, okay, this offense is a little different than we're seeing in Detroit because Ben Johnson's adapting to the quarterback. You have to adapt to the quarterback. So that's why it's like, your quarterback's Jared Goff, right? Like he wants everything just timed up perfectly, so I have them at number 9. They're still in the top 10, just a couple question marks about them. So, but I almost snuck in the Bears here, but I don't know if I could withstand Bears top 10 offense when they're dead last in everything. They might be starting a day 2 left tackle, rookie left tackle. DeAndre Swift still their running back. Yeah. So it was that one I couldn't, even though I am optimistic, I'll save it for the NFC North preview pod.
Luther Burden's looking at those Jameson Williams quotes right now and saying, real. Boy,
you're not kidding.